You see the moon? I just woke up really early and then I looked out the window. The moon was just like right there. Hi. There's like waves crashing. I love the morning. Yesterday, which feels like today still, I went to this wellspring to fill up water bottles, like big, huge 5 gallons for the yoga studio. And it was such an adventure because it was like hailing. It was so cool. It was like, it felt like an initiation is a good way to put it. Like a goodbye from California, because we experienced like sunshine and then hail, and we drove like up to a mountain, and then like the water was cold, but like filled up the water bottles, but also like put our heads under it and our feet in it, and it was like just spring trickling out of a mountain, and there's this huge tree on the top of it, just like hanging out, looking down. And then came home to like blue skies and clouds. And it was great. I just feel blessed today by the goddess, by nature, and kind of thinking about like the beauty way. I call it Rasika Tantrika medicine, because it's appreciating and making as much as possible like beautiful in your life, and having that even exchange of being grateful with nature brings more occurrences, more synchronicities in nature. And like animal medicine, again, is such a thing, like seeing a hawk overhead or a vulture or 3 little birds on a wire. It's like God's still talking to us, even in things that are seemingly random. But when we're quiet enough or appreciating it, it started like raining a little harder on the way back down the hill or the mountain, and then there was this big rainbow, and it was like, oh my gosh, like it always does feel like sort of that energy of a promise. Like it's like nature just being like, look, this is here. And we saw the end of the rainbow too, like, which was kind of crazy. It was just like this perfect fucking rainbow over this little body of water, and we just stood there like, what? And then obviously howled. We did this thing like in the like at their wellspring that we just like made, just like kind of just opened our throats and then like got on the same wavelength, and then it was like echoing off of the water in the spring, like back in our ears, and it was so trippy. Like it was really cool. And then before that I was in my mentorship program, and we did oddyoga, like self massage, and I like fixed my throat and put my head back on straight. It was necessary, but it's interesting to connect like the body and its like causal layers, like in the veils of the body, of like the seemingly separate functions of the nervous system. It has a sort of an energetic layer between the organs and the thinking body, then the aura, to the pranic body, to the radiant body, to the atma. Like we have these sheaths or these layers between consciousness, and it really just keeps rippling out. And I notice with pain, it's sort of a body that we can like live in, but also the body that things could be like trapped in and suppressed in, so we can not feel it, which is also not really it's easier to heal if we feel the pain, we like let it go through. But obviously that's the one I don't like to experience. So anyways, it was nice to like literally like relax my shoulders, use oil. Like I don't always use oil. I'll mostly just like press on points for myself, but I really needed to like calm the nerves down. So that really helped, like using actual warm oil, like treating myself as like kindly as I treat my clients. and then later that day I had 2 more massages, and I always notice on the same days, people have usually a lot of the same problems. Sometimes they mirror me, but sometimes it's because like tension comes in waves on people, because people experience sort of like collective conscious waves, and they will alter their posture for the day. Like people will be slumped over more, or I don't know. It's just interesting to think of as everyone as being in the wave collectively, but like also individually. So like they're experiencing like the veil between like the thinking body, the physical body, and like we can only filter in so much information into our brains, but it doesn't mean that whoever's next to you isn't experiencing a lot of like the waves of energy coming into the field, because we think so much of it, it's like a lot of self-generated, but really so much of what we experience is this, things coming into our sensory awareness. Our guts are digesting it, our hearts are digesting it, our like not, it's not all felt in the brain or thought about in the brain. So sitting under the moonlight, like it's energy coming into my field, and it's recharging my energy, because the moon energy has like the negative polarity. The sun has the yang. It's obviously very bright, very radiating, whereas the moon is the energy more of like the unconscious, where it has like this absorbing quality. And so I love sitting in the moonlight, because the negative polarity also pulls out positive ions in our physical body. Like that's like what like grounding does too. Like when you walk on the earth without shoes on, pulls positive ions out of the body. And if you have too many of those suckers floating around unmatched in the body, then that's when like cells go rogue, and the body starts to like attack itself, or you have cancer cells or autoimmune. That can be also correlated to just having just too much of a charge in your body. So the negative polarity brings harmony to the systems. So something to think about. If you do wake up early, like I actually went and sat outside and then came back in here, and then my brain was still talking, so I was like, oh, I'll just talk it out to the nothingness. And yeah, here we are thinking about the moon. I should go back to sleep, but we'll see. Sometimes I'll doodle, sometimes I'll write, then I'll go back to bed, or not, I'll start my day. But there's something special about the morning time and the moonlight and quiet that I just hold very dearly. And one more thought is, like, when I write, the trick is to make it sound, or for me, like a lot of the goal is where you can't tell like the beloved and the loved. I'm talking about like nature or God or like a beloved person in your life. Like I want it all to sound like the same, because it is cultivating an intimacy with nature and spending those quiet moments with nature that you feel loved. Like you feel a visceral experience of, like, people think of love as just like the highest achieved love gained is the romantic love, but it's, you can experience the womb of creation in really quiet moments, and like that is a really great healing force. And I don't want to ever not be grateful or underestimate that power and how it makes you feel like your body is a temple, because it's like it goes in the highways of all those layers of you that seemingly have veils or sheaths or koshas. It's that we have the ability to feel them all sort of at the same time, and then like the nature clears you out enough that you can feel like the portal. That's gonna sound crazy, but or not. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about. Everyone, okay. Good night, or good morning, or happy aliveness.